What's up, co-reporters, and welcome back to my channel. I'm joined again by Dmitry Shakhnovich of DSHAC Law to talk about the potential of Prince Harry being deported from the United States if Donald Trump were to be elected president again. So Dmitry was previously on my channel last week to talk about the lawsuit going on between Samantha Markle and her estranged half-sister Meghan Markle, which Samantha lost. A lot of you guys were vocal about bringing Dmitry back on the channel. So Dmitry, thanks for joining us again. How are you?
I am great. Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you too. This is amazing to have you back. So for those who don't know, Dmitry is a New York-based lawyer with a YouTube channel called DSHAC Law that you should subscribe to for legal commentary on the hottest stories in pop culture and politics. So Dmitry, as we're all aware, Donald Trump is running for re-election, but right now he's having legal problems. Can you touch on some of that? I saw you had a video uploaded about that today.
Yeah, his hush money trial starts today in downtown Manhattan, which is a really big deal because it's the first time that a former president is standing trial in a criminal case, right, of this nature. And technically, this is a case that is important because, in theory, he can be sentenced to jail time. I don't know if he will, even if he is convicted. Basically, it's a falsifying business records case, which is not that serious. And the way that New York law works is that you can sometimes take crimes that aren't that serious, often referred to as misdemeanors here in New York, and elevate them to more serious crimes, referred to as felonies, if you can show what they call an aggravating factor. And so in this particular case, they used a payment to Stormy Daniels, right, as a campaign finance violation, thereby bumping up misdemeanors to felonies. And so, it'll be interesting to see how it turns out. Jury selection starts today. That's not going to be an easy task, right, to pick a jury that could say it's not biased. So it's funny. I'd like to see what happens in the next several days here.
Same here. So about how long is that trial expected to last?
Well, it really depends, right? A jury selection could last a day. It could last 2 weeks. So it really depends on those kinds of things. And trials tend to change as time passes, right? Witnesses come and go. And, the prosecution may have to modify their case. The defense may have to modify their defense based on what the prosecution introduces at trial. So we'll see. Several weeks, I presume, is how long the case will last.
Okay, awesome. So it sounds like Donald Trump has his own fish to fry, but nonetheless, he did start making some campaign promises about some very important subjects, such as potentially deporting Prince Harry from the United States of America if he were to be reelected. Now, the reason for this is because Prince Harry talked about how he engaged in drug use while he was living in the United Kingdom before he moved to the United States. And when you complete a visa, you're supposed to declare whether or not you've done drugs in the past or something like that. And whether or not you've done drugs can factor into your ability to receive a visa. Are you able to give further details about that, Dmitry?
So I'm not an immigration lawyer. I don't practice immigration law. But Donald Trump, quote unquote, can't deport anybody, right? There are agencies in place in the federal government that engage in the revocation of visas if it's appropriate. Lying on applications, as far as I understand, may be a grounds for revocation, but Donald Trump can't come in and send him away. That's not how it works. You have due process in this country, right? And you have hearings that have to be held, administrative processes that have to be undergone. So it's not something that'll happen quickly.
So why would someone who's not capable of even deporting someone make some sort of a statement like that? So Donald Trump, he didn't exactly say that he would be able to deport Prince Harry, but he did say that that was something that he wanted to look into, and he wanted to make sure that Prince Harry didn't have any kind of special privileges. His exact quote was, "No, we'll have to see if they know something about the drugs, and if he lied, they'll have to take appropriate action." And so when pressed about what appropriate action could potentially be, he said that, quote, "I don't know. You'll have to tell me. You just have to tell me. You would have thought that they would have known this a long time ago." So it sounds kind of more like sound bites than any actual form of action, right?
Right. I mean, look, again, there are agencies that are put in place, and Donald Trump, obviously, if he becomes president, has authority to appoint folks to certain positions, right? And obviously, the agencies would then do that. The processes are something that he can't change, right? You can't, again, deportation can be a long and difficult process. It's not something that'll just happen like that. And he seemed to refer to that, right? He seemed to say that we're going to have to look into the appropriate action and so on and so forth. So it won't happen overnight.
All right. So sorry to the people who want this to happen overnight. It's going to be a process if it even does happen. So after Prince Harry revealed in his book Spare that he had engaged in recreational drug use, there was some sort of publication that tried to obtain a copy of Prince Harry's visa application to see whether or not he had actually divulged that information. So I know you're not an immigration lawyer, but do you think that we are entitled to see Prince Harry's visa application under the Freedom of Information Act? That's what they filed for.
Yeah, so in theory, right, the government, because of the structure of our government, is virtually obligated to show the people anything that they want to see. And then there are a whole bunch of exceptions to that rule. I can't imagine it would be easy for them to obtain Prince Harry's application.
Okay. Well, there you go, everybody. A little bit of an update on what could potentially happen to Prince Harry and his visa application if Donald Trump were to become president. It doesn't seem like it's any different than with Biden as president currently, because that is not a role that a president can play, right? In choosing out somebody, singling them out for deportation. So Dimitri, thank you so much for joining me for this topic. And again, thank you guys for requesting Dimitri again. If you want more videos from Dimitri, make sure to check out his channel, DShack Law, here on YouTube. It's written across the screen. It's also tagged in the description box of this video.